Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Kenny Hack. Thanks for joining me. Going to be going kind of through a quick rundown on how to make these glass block lighted decorations. These are just kind of a quick little gift project I did. You can get these glass blocks like at any of the craft stores. I got this one at Hobby Lobby. I've seen them at Michael's. They're a clear glass block. They're normally used to people fill them with sand projects or fill them with decorations. They have this access top. Right here is the string of fairy lights I put inside of it. Um, very simple project, really. Um, Basically, just masked off the whole area around the outside edge. If I did it again, I probably wouldn't mask to the inside edge like I did this one. It was hard to, I kind of rushed it and probably didn't let the paint dry long enough, and it kind of peeled off on some of the edges. It'd have probably been better to mask off on this outside edge and paint the face all the way to the front, and that'd probably give a nice clean line. Um, Other than that, basically, I spray painted it with 3 layers of gloss black. Generally, about 3 good layers is enough to make it where the black is not transparent. The lights won't shine through it. And that's generally how I do most all of my painted stuff. I try to keep that same thickness so I can use pretty much the same numbers on about everything I do with the painted projects. Far as my standard settings for this stuff, I run 4,000 on my speed, 85% power. I just find like a silhouette that I liked, brought it into Lightburn, had Lightburn trace the image. First, you would select trace image, converts it to a line, and then you set it to fill. And then, just so I can get it centered, I drew a square around the outside that was the size of my masked off area. And so that way I could center the laser up underneath that masked edge, and I could drag my image into that image and get it centered. And that way I know my image is centered onto the piece of glass. That's just a quick way to make sure you're centered up, is draw an outside border as a different layer and that matches the outside of your workspace, and then drag your image into it and you'll be centered every time. So like, cause like if you highlight just the image, Lightburn, when you get close to center, see you can see it snaps right there. It snapped to the center. So that's a good way to just make sure you got everything lined up properly. Other than that, just to help speed up the process, I turn my fast white space scan up to 6,000, and that helped cut the time down as well. You can see this 6x6 image took 26 minutes. In reality, that was probably a little closer to about 30. It was a little bit off on the time, but not very far. And you don't have to worry about turning on the overscan, even though I'm up to 6,000, because all the time it's speeding up is on the inside of the image. It's not running fast on the outside edge. It is back down to, while it's burning, it's running at 4,000. And so at 4,000, it doesn't bump very hard when it changes direction. Once you get up to 6,000 on these diodes, that's a high enough speed that you want to start turning on the overscan. But if all your increased speed is internal to the design, the computer will automatically slow it down as it's going, like here it's going 6,000. As it approaches the burn area, it already has a built-in deceleration amount, but by the time it gets to the image, it's down to 4,000 to burn the image. So turn on that the white space scan speed and turn it up. That's a great way to speed up the time on your burns. A lot of times I have this turned up to 9,000 and it'll run just fine. But this was a pretty small project and I was fine with it taking like 25 minutes. I could have turned that up to 9,000 and it had probably been under 20 minutes, but given the size of the project, I was fine with it taking an extra 5 or 10 minutes. It was no big rush for it. This was just a gift I'm giving away. So I was fine with that time. So that's a pretty simple part. All these fairy lights you can get anywhere. This one here is actually made usually to go inside a wine bottle. It's kind of shaped like a cork. So I just drilled out that hole big enough to where when I shove it down in here, it's kind of sitting flush where you can't see it very well, but you still can access the on and off switch. Now, these glass blocks are normally clear. To work better, I use this frosted glass Rust-Oleum and basically masked off the top where I just had access to this slot, and you just spray in, cloud it in there, and it kind of goes on clear, but as it dries, it's kind of like that faux mirror spray I did in another video. As it dries, it'll turn a frosted color. And I put in probably 5 or 6 coats of that stuff. I'd spray it in, take my blow dryer, just blow dry it off in there until it was dry, and then just kept building up the layers. You want to kind of get that frosted glass in there to act as a diffuser. And a nice thing about this, since these are just 1 month set out decorations, you can put different holidays on the back on opposite sides, and that way you can use this one decoration for 2 different holidays. So you can kind of maybe make up about 4 or 5 blocks and have all the major holidays, if you like to put set outs out for the holidays, and you can get more than 1 month, 1 month's worth of use out of them. So overall, I think this glass block was right around $10, I think, if I remember right. I've had this for quite a while. I just never got to this project until I had my long break over Christmas weekend. So just finally decided I'd give it a try. So I don't remember exactly how much these glass blocks cost, but if it's at Hobby Lobby, sooner or later they're on half off or 40% off, so you can get them fairly cheap. So, and these fairy light strings are like $3 or $4. They're not very expensive either. It's not too expensive of a project. I think this frosted glass is like $6 or something. It's not too expensive. So if you can make a nice little set out decoration get a couple months worth of use out of it, it's not too bad. Other than that, pretty simple project. The only thing that's probably kind of a usable information is using this frosted glass to coat the inside to act as a diffuser. Like when you burn the image off, and I just do like I do in other videos. I took my toothbrush under a little bit of water, scraped off, like washed the soot off, and it come back crystal clear. It didn't engrave on the glass at all with these settings. So I was just able to wipe the soot off. But when it was crystal clear, you could see the pattern on the other side, and the light didn't spread out very good. You have to have that frosted glass in there to act as a diffuser and kind of help spread the light out. So that's one thing you're going to want to do when you do these projects is this frosted glass. It was very easy to put in. I was kind of worried whether or not it would get up here on the top edge, but when you cloud it into here, it seems to spread out well enough that it even got up here onto the top edge enough to add some frosted effect on that edge. So nice quick little how-to video. Hope it kind of explains on how to do it. Nice little craft project, make some nice gifts, make some nice stuff for yourself. Very easy. Just find, like I said, just find some silhouettes you like off the internet, have a light burn, trace them out if it's just for your personal use or giving away as gifts. Just something fun to do and something to try and add to your gifts you can make for people, something different than just wood engravings. So thanks for joining. Please like and subscribe. Hopefully you notice my subscriber count is at about 850. I'm getting pretty close to the 1,000 mark. I'm hoping I'm hitting that pretty soon. Kind of a big milestone for small channels is hitting that 1,000 subscriber mark. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channels. That's kind of what keeps these small channels going, is people subscribing and taking interest in what these videos are, and you know, kind of keeps me encouraged to keep putting them out, giving some how-to tips and things I learned, mistakes I've made. Like I said, if I wouldn't have made this mask right up to this edge, when I peeled the tape, that edge peeled back. If I'd have masked off right to here and painted that whole face, I think it had turned out better. But this is my first time trying it. I don't mind showing you my mistakes so everybody can learn from them, and that way we all get better. But well, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.